you're running for president.
Hey, somebody douchebag. It's Saturday, December 13th, something like that, 2018. This is my second leadership lesson. This is called Tale of Two Captains. So the main focus of this story is to lead from the middle, especially if you're the fucking new guy or gal. Also bear in mind this was 2003 and I was still in full combat at this point. So while deployed to Baghdad for 12 months, I had the pleasure of serving under two commands, that's two captains. My first captain we'll call Captain Shitsweek. West Point wannabe, self-serving ass. Arrogance that blinded him to how much of a douche he was. If you'd like a visual, you can Google Captain America from Generation Kill. He is the army version. During the merry month of May, we had a mission that had suicidal dipshit written all over it. So fuck yeah, let's do it. The mission was to take a Iraqi semi-truck filled with canisters of propane to the most dangerous neighborhood in Baghdad area called Sadr City. Words can't describe the depravity of these desperate people. A city with open sewers and a flowing shit river with rotting corpses of humans and animals. I was a gunner, so I had a front row seat, and the smell immediately made me vomit. Then my truck commander and driver joined me in the melody of vomiting, and we did our three-part harmony. We continued on to our destination, which was called a propane compound. The structure was a mashup of dirt and junk walls made up out of tires and garbage and whatever they could find. At this point, I was seriously questioning if I would make it out of this alive. Let's go through the I'm totally fucked checklist. 2 MVs with 6 soldiers. I'm fucked. Escorting a truck full of propane. I'm fucked. To a drug secure compound. Yeah, right. In the most dangerous part of Baghdad. What could go wrong? I'll tell you. As we pulled up to the compound, the workers immediately began to throw the canisters onto the patch of concrete below. With each bottle banging out the cement, I imagine me picking shrapnel out of my ass or one bottle setting everything else off. I remember the driver yelling at the workers, I'm not a doctor, but something to the tune of, hurry the fuck up. As soon as the last propane cylinder hit the ground, banged off the ground, the driver was gone before I could even tip him. Again, I'm not a doctor, but we are currently surrounded by 4 walls and a pile of explosives that we are to give to these people. I said to share my concerns. I said, hey, Sarge, we're in a really bad fucking spot, and we are also inside of an even shittier compound with one way in and one way out. I suggest we post outside. Sarge Goldwing introduced you in episode 34. Agreed with me, and we posted just outside the gate. Pointing at egress, and I had a 360 view of everything. We have about 100 cylinders of propane for an entire neighborhood, which, needless to say, was definitely not enough. By the grace of Allah, we had a section of military police with an interpreter on board, with a very large PA speaker, which we refer to as PSYOPs. We told the interpreter to instruct the citizens to form a line, and they would receive 1 bottle per family. As the line was forming, the pushing and shoving began, and I witnessed some atrocities that I won't share because it just detracts to the point, but it was bad. The female citizens would shove their children down the line to get the propane, and they would get made pretty good on the way. The day I learned the very real lesson that day, that humans are self-serving animals who would kill their own to protect themselves. Lovely. As the line grew in length and violence, we quickly ran out of propane. Shocker. And then a really big fuck-up happened. The interpreter told the very nice line of people that we ran out and we'd be back in a few days. Then, all hell broke loose. The crowd surged forward and nearly tipped my truck over, and I yelled for everyone to mount up and get the fuck out ASAP. A hail of objects being thrown by an angry mob, and shouting drowned out everything and made communication pretty much impossible. So it's pretty much a free for all to get the fuck out right now. And I honestly felt like we were just going to get ripped to shreds right there. But by the grace of Yahweh, we got to the road and Charlie and Mike the fuck out of there. Went back to base, which we call the FOB, or forward operating base, or balls deep in the shit. My truck commander, Goldwing, and his wingman, who we'll call Sergeant J-Rock at this time, went to our ready room to brief Captain Shitsweek, and tell him how fucked our mission was. Myself, the other gunner, and the other drivers went down to the chaw to get some food. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared shitless about going back. And guess what? We did. 3 more times. After chow and the smoke, we began to play cards in the room and relax for a bit. In walks Captain Shitweek, and I spring to attention and yell for the room to stand at attention. This was the room full of specialists on down. This was the low-rank room. So Captain Shitweek gave the order to, as you were, which means go back to doing what you were doing. We had an insane amount of Skittles for some reason, so we used them as gambling chips. And they were used so much that a lot of them kind of lost their shell and became this opaque thing. And, switching from hand to hand, pile to pile. So anyways, in comes Captain Shitweek, sits down at the bar table, grabs a handful of those AIDS-infested Skittles I just told you about, and pops them in his mouth and gobbles them down before I could say, he said, I heard you guys had an interesting day. Glad you made it back, and I want you to know that I support you. What can I do for you? So I came back with permission to speak freely and was granted that. I said that the propane mission is a suicide mission. We barely made it out today, and we shouldn't be going back. A full platoon at minimum, or it just wouldn't be worth it. It's way too much for one section, 6 guys to handle. He came back with the standard hearts and minds bullshit. We gotta help these people. But, in the back of my head, I'm like, why don't you come with us and see how fucking dumb this is for yourself? So he informed us that he would be going back with us. And he'd be also taking another section plus himself. Still not the platoon. He said that this time would be different and we would coordinate and plan better. But I still felt terrible about going and was convinced I'd die in Cedar City and be thrown in Shit River. I literally had images of our Iraqis tearing me from limb to limb. It was awesome. We were only there for like a month into a 12-month deployment. Fuck my ass. So a few days later, we met a new propane truck, and off to Oz we go. As we crossed Shit River, the night my gut grew, and the smell definitely didn't help. On approach, I was at the rear back of the line to pull rear security. So I watched swaths of angry Sidarians surround our line of 3 Humvees and a propane truck en route to a compound we were at a few days ago, and we would be rendezvousing with a section of MPs there. As we approached, the plan was to form the vehicles in a arrow shape and separate the mob or line into a female and male line. We would stage the Saab's truck at the pinnacle of the arrow to keep the separation and put the lines in a bottleneck. The Saab's truck was blowing Arabic directions to separate male and female and stay calm. Rowdy people will be arrested and detained until we exit. So the lines separated into male and female lines, and then the female line began to grow rowdy, and the MPs had that side and were yelling and attempting to keep the peace. In their Muslim culture, another male is not to touch another female under any circumstance. The male MPs detained a female, and a male MP was zip tying her hands and about to put a bag over her head, which is standard at that point. When the male line noticed these things, they suddenly got interested and became violent too. So Captain Shitwick looked at him, and he froze and was too busy to notice how fucked things were getting. The male line began to push my Humvee over, so I fired a few warning shots. 50 cal is very loud, very powerful, and everyone suddenly stopped like a bad 80s movie record scratch. You know, when the wrong person walks into the wrong party. Yeah. Everyone checked themselves and resumed chaos. By the way, we haven't even started handing out the propane yet. The MPs released the female detainee and some order was restored. I looked down at my awesome captain, and he looked like a bag of smashed assholes. I looked to our propane truck, and that was being looted. Awesome. So Cap finally issued an order to return back to the FOB. Wow, thanks. So we go back to the FOB. We mount on the left. The truck was picked clean, and we had failed again massively. On our way back, Shitwick commented on how crazy that was, and he would never, and he should have taken me more serious. I'm thinking there's no way he will send us back now because he saw it, right? Unfortunately, I was way off. Captain Shitwick sent in a platoon without him. Yep, all of us but him. During the mission brief, Captain Shitwick named mutants in their role, and he did not include Hawk 6 in that rotation. Of course, I can presume that he was scared shitless, but at least he noticed we need more soldiers. We had a solid mission plan and finally enough boots and trucks to do the fucking job right. For the remainder, Captain Shitwick command, he led from the rear. He stayed at the FOB. Got a taste of leading from the front and realized that's not his cup of tea. Fast forward a few months, and then to the biggest firefight that I'd been in to date. We were engaged by enemy forces at a hasty checkpoint, which was pretty common. I was a Humvee staged on the road to the compound that the other soldiers were searching. And so essentially I was pulling security for the guys while they searched the compound. I was by the road, make sure that no one would go in or out. I saw a Nissan, a small pickup truck with no lights on, rapidly approaching their checkpoint. And by the way, I'm by myself. So I flashed my footlights like we're supposed to. And right when I turned the footlights back off, I was engaged by a small arms fire from the truck. I returned fire and was effective in destroying the threat. There was 4 occupants, 3 in the front and 1 in the back. And the one in the back was still alive but mortally wounded. So we called for a helicopter medevac for the wounded Iraqi. And upon inspection of the enemy vehicle, it was determined that the enemies that shot at me first were disguising themselves as Iraqi police so they could drive around at night unimpeded. When the helicopter landed, it blew away all the spent breaths. Okay? This is very important to remember. An investigation was started, and my integrity came into question by none other then Captain Shitsweek. The first thing he asked me when I returned is if I knew I shot an Iraqi police truck. I answered back that I returned after they engaged me. He asked who shot first because there was no brass in their truck. And like I said, remember that one part, then I got dropped. And I said, sir, I flashed my footlight, and a section of military-aged males engaged me with some arms fire, and I returned fire. The line of questioning suggested to me that I did something wrong and he doesn't trust me. I feel guilty because I'm essentially being investigated for doing my fucking job. After a month-long investigation, First Platoon was cleared of any wrongdoing, and I actually ended up getting an Archon with Valor out of that whole deal. So, second, Captain Shitsweek failed me. He did not trust me or my section, and I felt massively failed by his leadership. Right or wrong, I have to live with that bullshit every day, and I don't need his. Halfway through, we had our change of command, and we'll call him Captain Ram. It rhymes, so it's true. Captain Ram was formerly a non-commissioned officer. That means he was enlisted, a regular Joe Schmo like us. So he was in tune with the line. He understood that he had a lot to learn from us, not the other way around. He would join us on our presence patrols and our VIP escorts to and from the Baghdad airport. And if a mission was super fucked, he would either join us or decline the mission until it was made better. He had heard through the grapevine of my firefight and the ensuing investigation and said off the get-go, do what you think is right and we'll figure it out later. Don't lie to me and I will defend you. And he said that in front of the entire troop at about 80 people. Work hard for me and I'll work hard for you. Confidence is important, no matter what job you're in. As a leader, I encourage you to lead from the middle. And what that means is look around you and learn from the people that you're working with. And don't be in front because you can't see what's going on behind you. Don't be at the rear because you can't see what's going on in front of you. Be in the middle so you can see both sides. Get in there and learn the job. Know the job above you. Know the job under you. And be the best at the job you are in. Even if there are a few crusty cunts in your team, Buddha said to water the good seeds. So give them purpose and water their productive seed by not being a self-serving douchebag. And finally, leading from the middle will build trust over time because the leader is more aware of what his or her team is doing and what their capabilities and limitations are. But really, at the end of the day, it really just all boils down to this. Don't be a douchebag. Hi. Thanks for listening. I appreciate your time. Who's this douche, you ask? I'm Chris. I'm a combat veteran. I have PTSD, and I have SCA1. SCA1 is a rare neurological disease that slows and slurs speech, and I have to use a walker to get around. It's like being drunk without drinking beer, and if you know me well, that is the greatest torture. My podcasts are of me just yelling and cursing at the mic, and I hope you enjoy. Bye!